Important projects in China's Belt and Road Initiative. Overview. The Belt and Road Initiative (BRI), initiated by President Xi Jinping in September 2013, is an ambitious global development strategy that aims to enhance trade and stimulate economic growth across Asia and beyond by developing trade routes reminiscent of the ancient Silk Road. As of August 2023, China has signed 215 cooperation agreements with 155 countries and 32 international organizations, making the BRI a crucial aspect of global infrastructure development and a significant driver of China's foreign policy. The BRI encompasses various projects spanning multiple continents, significantly impacting geopolitical dynamics and economic conditions in participating countries. Key projects by region. 1. Africa. Infrastructure investment. China has emerged as the largest investor in African infrastructure, with total investments reaching around $23 billion by 2020. Notable projects include Addis Ababa Djibouti Railway. This railway has dramatically reduced travel time between the Ethiopian capital and Djibouti from 3 days to about 12 hours. Mombasa Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway, opened in 2017. This railway connects Kenya's major port city to its capital, enhancing transport capacity and economic activities. Debt concerns. While Chinese investments have boosted infrastructure development, they have also raised concerns about debt sustainability. Countries like Djibouti and Kenya have reported substantial debts due to Chinese loans, with Djibouti borrowing approximately $1 billion, which funds 40% of its infrastructure projects. Cultural ties. Beyond economic impacts, the BRI aims to strengthen cultural ties between China and African nations, promoting mutual understanding and cooperation. 2. Asia. Central Asia. Western Europe, Western China Highway. This highway improves trade connectivity across Central Asia. Kazakhstan alone has invested about $30 billion in its infrastructure under the BRI framework. Southeast Asia. Jakarta Bandung High-Speed Rail, funded by China Railway International. This project faced delays but was officially opened in October 2023, reducing travel time between Indonesian cities from 3 hours to just 40 minutes. Sri Lanka. Magampura Mahinda Rajapaksa Port. This port is a prime example of debt trap diplomacy, where Sri Lanka leased the port to China after struggling to repay loans, highlighting the risks associated with large-scale borrowing. 3. Europe. Strategic partnerships. European countries including Italy and Greece have signed agreements to enhance economic cooperation under the BRI. Port of Piraeus, revitalized by the Chinese company COSCO. This port has become a major hub for Chinese trade in Europe. Logistics networks. Freight train services initiated in 2011 have expanded significantly, linking 48 Chinese cities with 42 European destinations, facilitating the transportation of goods across continents. 4. The Americas. In Latin America, countries like Panama, Bolivia, and Argentina have engaged with the BRI to improve infrastructure and energy projects. Argentina-China Joint Hydropower Project. This initiative aims to build 2 dams on the Santa Cruz River, generating significant energy and creating thousands of jobs. Common themes and challenges. Investment focus. The primary focus of the BRI is infrastructure development, particularly in developing countries, to facilitate trade and economic growth. Debt diplomacy. Concerns about unsustainable debt levels are prevalent across various regions, with examples from Africa and Sri Lanka underscoring the potential risks of over-reliance on Chinese financing. Cultural engagement. While economic interests drive the BRI, there is also an emphasis on fostering cultural exchanges and mutual understanding between China and partner countries. Timeline of key events. 2013, launch of the BRI by President Xi Jinping. 2014, Kenya signs a cooperation agreement for the Mombasa-Nairobi Railway. 2016, construction begins on the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Rail in Indonesia. 2017, the first freight train service from China to Europe is initiated. 2020, Djibouti and Kenya express concerns over rising debt levels. 2021, completion of the Laos-China Railway connecting to Thailand. 2023, official opening of the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Rail, ongoing discussions on BRI projects in various nations. Conclusion. The Belt and Road Initiative represents a transformative approach to global infrastructure and economic collaboration with significant projects across Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Americas. While the initiative offers promises of development and connectivity, it also raises critical concerns about debt sustainability and geopolitical influence. As the BRI continues to evolve, its impact on global trade dynamics and international relations will remain a focal point for policymakers and scholars alike. The Belt and Road Initiative BRI, initiated by China in 2013, has led to the development of numerous infrastructure projects across Asia, Africa, Europe, and the Americas. While the initiative aims to enhance global trade and connectivity, it also raises concerns about debt sustainability and geopolitical influence. Here are some key projects and counterintuitive aspects of the BRI. Key projects. 1. Africa. Addis Ababa Djibouti Railway. This railway significantly reduces travel time between Ethiopia and Djibouti, showcasing China's commitment to enhancing transport infrastructure in Africa. Mombasa the Nairobi Railway, a major investment that has improved transportation capacity and is seen as a legacy project for the Kenyan government. Debt concerns. Countries like Djibouti and Kenya have raised alarms about accumulating debts from Chinese loans. The concern is that these debts may lead to loss of sovereignty, as seen in Sri Lanka's leasing of the Hambantota port. 2. Asia. Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Rail. This project, funded by China, faced delays but was officially opened in October 2023, illustrating China's determination to push forward with BRI despite challenges. China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, a key BRI project that encompasses various infrastructure developments including roads and energy projects. 3. Europe. Port of Piraeus, revitalized by Chinese investment, this port has become a crucial hub for trade between Asia and Europe. Freight train services, established in 2011, these services have expanded significantly, linking numerous Chinese cities with European destinations. Counterintuitive information. 1. Debt trap diplomacy versus development. While the narrative of debt trap diplomacy suggests that China uses loans to gain control over countries, some studies indicate that Chinese investments have led to positive economic impacts in certain sectors such as infrastructure development and job creation. However, this growth often comes with the caveat of increasing debt levels, leading to a complex relationship where beneficiaries may struggle with sustainability. 2. Cultural exchange amid economic focus. The BRI is often framed as an economic initiative, yet it also serves as a platform for cultural exchange, particularly in Africa. This dual focus complicates the perception of China's intentions as it seeks to forge deeper ties beyond mere economic transactions. 3. Military presence linked to economic investments. In Djibouti, China's construction of a military base alongside infrastructure projects demonstrates an unconventional approach where economic investment is intertwined with military strategy. This duality emphasizes the geopolitical dimensions of the BRI, suggesting that economic motives can also serve security interests. For mixed outcomes in local economies, projects like the Eastern Industrial Zone in Ethiopia show that while Chinese investments can create jobs, they do not always lead to comprehensive economic development. The lack of infrastructure outside these zones may hinder broader benefits, showcasing a gap between investment and sustainable growth. 5. Public perception versus reality. In countries like Malaysia, initial enthusiasm for BRI projects has turned into skepticism, particularly under new leadership. The shift in public sentiment highlights that local political dynamics can significantly influence the success and perception of BRI investments, suggesting that initial agreements may not guarantee long-term support. The BRI is a multifaceted initiative, reflecting both China's aspirations for global economic leadership and the complexities of international relations. It embodies a blend of opportunities and challenges, revealing that while infrastructure investments can spur development, they can also create dependencies and exacerbate existing vulnerabilities in recipient countries. The Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) is an extensive global development strategy adopted by China which has significant geopolitical and economic ramifications. While many discussions on the BRI focus on its infrastructure projects and the potential for economic growth in participating countries, several critical aspects are often overlooked. Below I will highlight some important content from the BRI reports that many may miss, along with explanations of their significance. 1. Debt diplomacy. One of the most contentious aspects of the BRI is what is referred to as debt diplomacy. This term is used to describe how countries, particularly in Africa and South Asia, have accumulated significant debt due to Chinese loans aimed at funding BRI projects. For instance, Djibouti has borrowed approximately $1 billion from China, which accounts for nearly 40% of its infrastructure funding. Similarly, Sri Lanka had to lease the Hambantota port to a Chinese company after struggling to repay its debts. Critics argue that this creates a cycle of dependency on China, potentially compromising the sovereignty of nations as they become beholden to Chinese financial interests. Significance. Understanding the implications of debt diplomacy is crucial as it can affect political alignments, economic stability, and the sovereignty of nations. Countries may find themselves with limited options due to overwhelming debt, which may force them to align with Chinese interests over their own national priorities. 2. Cultural ties and soft power. While the BRI is often viewed through the lens of hard infrastructure and economic investment, the initiative also has a significant cultural component. For example, China's engagement in Africa is not only about building roads and railways but also about fostering cultural exchanges and educational partnerships. This includes sending students to study in China and facilitating language programs, which can create a favorable perception of China among younger generations in these countries. Significance. The cultivation of cultural ties through soft power can lead to long-term strategic advantages for China, ensuring that future leaders in these countries have a more favorable view of China. This approach can help China counterbalance Western influence and build more resilient partnerships based on mutual respect and understanding. 3. Environmental concerns. Environmental sustainability is often sidelined in discussions about the BRI, particularly when it comes to large infrastructure projects. Critics have pointed out that many BRI projects lead to deforestation, habitat destruction, and contribute to climate change. For instance, some hydropower projects in Africa have faced backlash for their environmental impacts, leading to displacement of local communities and disruption of ecosystems. Significance. The environmental impact of the BRI is a critical issue that could lead to significant backlash from local populations and international communities. Addressing these concerns is essential for the long-term viability of the BRI, as increasing global awareness and activism around climate issues could jeopardize projects perceived as environmentally harmful. 4. Geopolitical tensions. The BRI is not just an economic initiative, it is also a strategic tool that can heighten geopolitical tensions. For example, China's investments in ports and infrastructure in countries like Pakistan, CPC, and Sri Lanka have raised alarms in India and the US, who view these projects as part of China's strategy to expand its influence in the Indian Ocean region. Significance. The geopolitical implications of the BRI could lead to increased military and diplomatic tensions. Countries may respond by strengthening alliances against China, leading to a potential escalation of conflicts in regions where China is expanding its presence. 5. Local employment and workforce dynamics. While the BRI creates infrastructure and jobs, the influx of Chinese workers into host countries has raised concerns about local employment opportunities. In many cases, Chinese companies bring their own laborers rather than hiring locally, which can exacerbate unemployment issues in developing nations. For example, construction projects in Africa often see a significant number of Chinese workers instead of local laborers, which can lead to resentment and social unrest. Significance: the dynamics of local employment and the inclusion of local workforce are crucial for the social acceptance of BRI projects. If local populations do not see tangible benefits from these projects, it could result in public opposition, protests, and ultimately project failure. 6. Long-term economic vision versus immediate gains. The BRI is often framed as a means to facilitate immediate economic growth through infrastructure development. However, the long-term vision of economic integration and connectivity is sometimes lost in the rush for short-term gains. Projects may promise immediate benefits, but without a sustainable economic model, they risk leaving host countries with infrastructure that is underutilized or unsustainable. Significance: understanding the balance between immediate economic benefits and long-term sustainability is critical for both China and participant nations. A focus on sustainable, integrated economic development will determine the overall success of the BRI and its acceptance by local populations. 7. Technological transfer and knowledge sharing. While the BRI facilitates the flow of infrastructure, it also presents opportunities for technology transfer and knowledge sharing. However, this potential is frequently underreported. For example, projects in the Eastern Industrial Zone in Ethiopia have been designed to promote manufacturing and industrial skills among the local workforce. Significance: the potential for technology transfer can enhance local capabilities and foster economic independence. If managed well, these technologies can help build a more competitive local industry, ultimately benefiting both China and the host countries. Conclusion: the Belt and Road Initiative is a multifaceted endeavor that encompasses economic, cultural, environmental, and geopolitical dimensions. While the focus often leans towards infrastructure and investment, it is crucial to consider the wider implications of debt sustainability, cultural engagement, environmental impact, and local workforce dynamics. Recognizing these aspects can provide a more nuanced understanding of the BRI and its potential to shape the future of international relations and global economics. 1. Infrastructure investment and economic impact. The Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) has led to substantial infrastructure investments in various regions, particularly in Africa, Asia, and Europe. For instance, China's investment in Africa reached approximately $23 billion by 2020, positioning it as the largest funder of infrastructure projects on the continent. Notable projects include the Addis Ababa Djibouti Railway and the Mombasa Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway, which significantly improve connectivity and trade efficiency. These investments not only bolster economic growth but also enhance local capacity through job creation and improved transportation networks. However, the economic benefits must be weighed against rising debt levels in partner countries, raising concerns about sustainability. 2. Debt diplomacy and sustainability concerns. The BRI has faced criticism for its potential to create debt trap diplomacy, where countries accrue unsustainable debt from Chinese loans, leading to loss of sovereignty over key assets. The case of Sri Lanka's Megampura Mahinda Rajapaksa port exemplifies this issue, where the port was leased to China after the country struggled to repay its loans. Similar concerns have emerged in countries like Djibouti and Kenya, where rising debts have prompted warnings from local governments. This aspect of the BRI necessitates a critical examination of financing mechanisms and the long-term implications for recipient countries. 3. Geopolitical implications and strategic partnerships. The BRI is not merely an economic initiative, it is also a geopolitical strategy that seeks to enhance China's influence globally. Key projects in Europe, such as the revitalization of Greece's port of Piraeus by COSCO, illustrate how China is positioning itself as a major player in international trade routes. Furthermore, partnerships with various European nations including Italy and Portugal highlight the strategic alliances being formed under the BRI framework. This geopolitical dimension raises questions about the future of global power dynamics, particularly in relation to U.S. influence in these regions. 4. Cultural exchange and soft power. Beyond economic and infrastructure goals, the BRI serves as a platform for cultural exchange and soft power expansion. China has emphasized the importance of building cultural ties, especially in Africa, where initiatives often combine infrastructure investments with cultural exchanges. This approach aims to enhance mutual understanding and cooperation, positioning China as a partner rather than a traditional donor. However, the impact of these cultural initiatives on local perceptions of China and the effectiveness of soft power strategies remains an area for further exploration, particularly in the context of rising nationalist sentiments in various countries. In summary, while the Belt and Road Initiative aims to enhance global connectivity and economic collaboration, it also presents complex challenges related to debt sustainability, geopolitical tensions, and the effectiveness of cultural engagement. These points warrant in-depth analysis and discussion to better understand the implications of China's ambitious project on the global stage. Here are 3 famous historical cases similar to the content related to China's Belt and Road Initiative BRI. 1. The Marshall Plan 1948–1952. The Marshall Plan was an American initiative aimed at providing economic assistance to Western European countries after World War II. The plan was implemented to rebuild war-torn regions, remove trade barriers, modernize industry, and improve European prosperity. The U.S. provided approximately $13 billion, equivalent to over $100 billion today, in aid to help rebuild European economies. The initiative is often credited with revitalizing the European economy, promoting political stability, and countering the spread of communism in the region. The Marshall Plan involved massive investments in infrastructure and fostered cooperation among European countries, similar to how the BRI aims to enhance infrastructure and promote economic development across Asia, Europe, and Africa. 2. The Silk Road, 2nd century BC, 14th century AD. The Silk Road was an ancient network of trade routes that connected China with the Mediterranean, facilitating not just trade in goods like silk, spices, and precious metals, but also the exchange of culture, ideas, and technologies. The Silk Road played a significant role in the economic and cultural interactions between different civilizations. The BRI is often seen as a modern-day revival of the Silk Road, as it seeks to establish trade routes and improve connectivity between China and various countries across Asia, Europe, and beyond, enhancing trade and cultural exchanges much like its historical predecessor. 3. The Suez Canal, opened in 1869. The Suez Canal is a man-made waterway in Egypt that connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, providing the shortest maritime route between Europe and the lands lying around the Indian and Western Pacific Oceans. Its construction was a monumental engineering project that significantly reduced travel time for shipping between Europe and Asia. The Suez Canal's strategic importance has made it a vital trade route for global commerce. The BRI includes significant investments in maritime infrastructure such as ports and shipping lanes, reflecting similar strategic economic interests in enhancing global trade routes as demonstrated by the establishment of the Suez Canal. These historical cases illustrate how infrastructure projects and economic initiatives have played crucial roles in shaping global trade and international relations, much like the Belt and Road Initiative seeks to do today. The Belt and Road Initiative BRI, initiated by China in 2013, aims to enhance global trade and infrastructure through a network of projects spanning multiple regions. As of early 2025, the BRI has signed cooperation documents with 155 countries and 32 international organizations, significantly impacting global energy reserves and trade dynamics. The following are predictions for the future outlook of key projects under the BRI. 1. Africa, infrastructure development and debt management. Continued investment. China is expected to maintain its role as a primary investor in African infrastructure, particularly in transport and energy sectors. Projects like the Addis Ababa Djibouti Railway and Mombasa Nairobi Railway are likely to be expanded, enhancing trade connections. Debt diplomacy mitigation. Due to rising concerns over debt sustainability, China may shift towards more sustainable financing models, possibly offering lower interest rates or more favorable repayment terms to ensure project viability and foster goodwill. Cultural partnerships. The focus on cultural engagement is likely to grow as China aims to strengthen ties with African nations beyond economic transactions, enhancing soft power influence. 2. Asia, regional connectivity and economic corridors. Central Asia, investments in road and rail infrastructure will continue, with projects like the Western Europe-Western China Highway expected to facilitate greater trade flow. There might be an increase in cross-border initiatives, enhancing regional economic cooperation. Southeast Asia, the successful launch of the Jakarta Bandung High-Speed Rail may prompt further high-speed rail projects connecting major cities in Indonesia and beyond. Future projects could also enhance connectivity with the broader ASEAN region. South Asia, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor (CPC) is expected to deepen integrating with broader regional trade routes, while Sri Lanka may see more discussions around debt restructuring related to its BRI involvement. 3. Europe, expanding trade networks. Logistics and trade hubs. European nations will likely enhance their roles as logistic hubs, with freight train services expected to expand further. As more connectivity is established, the trade volume between China and Europe could increase significantly. Geopolitical tensions. European countries participating in the BRI may face pressure from the US and EU to reassess their commitments, leading to more negotiations and potential renegotiations of agreements to balance economic benefits with political considerations. 4. Technological integration and green initiatives. Smart infrastructure. The integration of smart technologies in BRI projects is anticipated to grow, focusing on enhancing efficiency and sustainability. This could include the development of smart cities and energy-efficient infrastructure. Sustainable financing. There will likely be a stronger emphasis on green financing initiatives, with China promoting environmentally sustainable projects under the BRI framework to align with global climate goals. This could reshape the nature of investments in energy and infrastructure. 5. Latin America, emerging partnerships. Diversified investments. The BRI is expected to gain traction in Latin America, with China increasing investments in infrastructure projects such as ports and energy facilities. The Chancay port in Peru could serve as a key entry point for Chinese goods into South America. Geopolitical influence. As China solidifies its economic ties in Latin America, the U.S. may respond by strengthening its own relationships in the region, leading to a dynamic geopolitical landscape. 6. Challenges and adaptations. Debt sustainability issues. As countries grapple with rising debts, there may be increased scrutiny of BRI projects. China is likely to adapt its lending strategies to address concerns and promote local ownership of projects to mitigate backlash. Geopolitical rivalries. The BRI may face challenges from geopolitical rivalries, particularly with Western nations. This could lead to increased competition for influence in participating countries, impacting the pace and nature of BRI projects. Conclusion. The future of the Belt and Road Initiative is poised for transformation as it navigates the complexities of global trade, economic sustainability, and geopolitical dynamics. With a focus on infrastructure development, sustainable practices, and cultural engagement, the BRI's evolution will likely shape the future landscape of international relations and economic cooperation across continents. The initiative's success will depend on its ability to adapt to challenges while maintaining the trust and collaboration of partner countries.